Okay, this is going to be a brief seminar on the 1920s automobile. First off, the automobile was invented in France and Germany in the 1880s. It was originally called the horseless carriage. The first real automobile in America, invented by this man, Robinson E. Olds, the 1901 horseless carriage, and there's a picture of it right there. The early ones literally had like a big joystick, and that's how you turned the wheels. It was just not that close to what automobiles look like today. Here we jump to 1908 and the 20 horsepower Model T, which sold for $825 back then. Looking a lot more like cars we associate today, but you see big bench seats. You don't have a lot of things like seat belts, doors even. So obviously very different than what we're used to. Jump ahead to 1927, you have a Model T, it's a 290. Enclosed cab. So you can see we're modernizing. And this is Henry Ford. His important part of the 1920s with the automobile industry was mass production. He uses the assembly line, which he took from the idea of a hog slaughter plant, which was a de-assembly line. They put the hog on a hook and they cut off parts of the hog. He flips it around. He takes the car, moving it along, and workers specializing in one part put that on the vehicle. And they can do it a lot efficiently and faster than what they used to do. So you could have one employee who's just putting on the left front tire. One employee who's putting on the left front fender. One person that's putting on the grill. And they would do that all day, and it was able to speed up the production and drop the cost of the automobile. Here's an example of an early assembly line. You have the automobiles right here. You have your parts that you need. We have another one on this side, and you can see workers are just literally bolting on or attaching their items to the car as it goes down the assembly line. Another thing that was new in the 1920s was installment buying. What you would do is you would put some money down, this is really common today, and then you make your monthly payments. This coupe, $520. The assembly line by Ford also makes not only cars cheaper to make, it helps to drop the cost so more people can own cars, which helps them out. Then we have the big three, which were Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. They dominated the automobile market in the United States. And I have a clip here from YouTube.
100 years ago, on October 1913, Henry Ford introduced one of history's great inventions, the assembly line. It transformed industry worldwide.
And the mass-produced Model T helped create the American middle class. Dean Reynolds went to Ford's original plant in Detroit to learn more.
The assembly line has always been an impressive mix of man and machine. What it looks like now is a far cry from a century ago when Henry Ford first embraced the idea, one that wound up turning America into an industrial powerhouse with a thriving middle class. Bill Ford is executive chairman of Ford Motor Company and the great-grandson of Henry.
He had visited the meatpacking business in Illinois, and he saw there that the people were stationary and the product was moved to them. And he thought, well, why can't I apply that same principle to the car industry? So that's really where he got the innovation for it.
Until Ford's stroke of genius, his automobiles were basically custom-made trophies for the wealthy. That changed.
The assembly line did two things. One is it gave mobility to the average American, and the other is the employment in the plants helped create the middle class.
The process itself has aged well and continues to improve.
To build a quality car, you have to be able to have your operator be able to do it efficiently and to do it injury-free.
Allison Stevens is a technical specialist at Ford's Ergonomic Lab.
And you now are seeing 3D, and you are inside the computer looking at the design of one of our vehicles.
She showed us how, with 3D animation, she and her team can approximate an assembly line in the quiet of their office. testing parts and designs without the need to build an actual model.
You're seeing every fastener, every hole, every bend in the metal.
This virtual trial and error can tell Ford whether bolts turn, tires fit, or antennas are within reach to maximize efficiency up and down the actual line. Bill Ford likes that kind of thinking.
The assembly line's changed a lot in 100 years. It's still an assembly line, and that to me is really remarkable.
The proof of that can be seen in car after car after car. For CBS This Morning Saturday, Dean Reynolds, Detroit.
It's remarkable how much has changed, but how little has changed in a lot of ways, you know?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
And Dean Reynolds looks stunning in that outfit, doesn't he?
All right, guys. So that is the 1920s automobile and assembly line.